Okay. Hey, bud. How you doing? Scott here. Welcome to the first ever episode of Koala Teatime. This is my brand new podcast. I'm going to be trying out in 2020. And can I just say I'm excited for the 20s for one simple reason, that it's going to be the first decade since the 90s that's not difficult to refer to as a decade, because the last decade we had the noughties, but some people don't like calling it the noughties. Some people call it the O's. Some people call it the noughts. Some people call it the noughties, but there's not really like a general consensus. It just feels awkward whenever you refer to it. And then you have this decade. What do we even call this decade? Is it the tens? Is it the teenies? I don't know. It's weird, but we can all agree that the 20s is just the 20s. So there you go. Got that off my chest. So, hey, I'm Scott, and this is my new podcast. And so the idea of Koala Teatime, essentially, is it's kind of like going to be a free form thing to begin with. I want to start a podcast, but I'm not 100% sure where it's going to go or what it's going to refine to. So we're gonna see what happens, essentially. So I hope you enjoy what we get up to. Also, I got these new headphones, and they are constantly just jumping around my head, trying to get them tight. Okay, right. Let's try them all the way up here. Should we try that? Yeah, there you go. That works. Okay, so the idea for the podcast going forward is going to be sort of I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to chat and see what happens. And I'm trying it live today to see if anyone throws any questions my way. If not, just leave some questions for next time, and I'll answer them. They could be music related, they could be personal, whatever. Just leave a question. Let's see what happens, man. And yeah, so yeah, man, it's been Christmas. So I hope you've had a really good Christmas. It's Boxing Day now. And Christmas, I usually really enjoy Christmas, and this Christmas was all right. It was good, man. And I got this microphone that was really cool, and some new cans, so happy about that. But for me, Christmas Day is it's all about family, and it's all about food. That's my favorite things, man. I love stuffing balls. My mum makes some amazing stuffing balls and gravy. So yesterday I was just nom, just devouring stuffing balls left and right. And we made some homebrew cider. We cut down an apple tree early in the year because we had to build a studio. And so, yeah, we picked some apples from it, and we've been brewing them for the past couple of months, adding sugar so it become more alcoholic. And yeah, as we were drinking the cider yesterday, very, very strong. So enjoying that. But yeah, as I said, like, it's all about family and Christmas Day. And today I'm here with my YouTube family. So hello. Hope you are good. Say hello if you're watching live. Cool beans. And so what I want to talk about a little bit today is my experience on YouTube this year in 2019. So it's been a wild ride. A lot's happened, and I'm excited to talk about it. So a little backstory on me. Essentially, when I was 9 years old, parents split up, and it's one of those periods in your life when it happens where you feel a bit lost, and it's a bit like, whoa, the status quo has just changed. And so for me, I found refuge in music in an unlikely way. Basically, what happened was my mum showed me the film Wayne's World, which is a film that came out in the early 90s with Mike Myers in it, and Dana Carvey. And there's a scene early on in the film where they're they're listening to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen in the car, and they're headbanging along. And when I heard it, something just snapped. Something snapped inside of me, and I thought, I'm meant to write songs and play them to people. That's going to be me. Party on Wayne. Hey, Dan. So music just became a really a clear thing from then on. And I started writing songs in my head to begin with. I just heard songs fully formed that just started coming to me. It's as if that a door had been locked all my life up to then with songs hidden behind it. And suddenly the door was open, and I could just hear, I could just hear them. And so I spent my teenage years picking up guitar, picking up drums, picking up every instrument I could get my hands on to try and learn how to play, so I could get the songs in my head out, into the real world. And I spent my teenage years doing that and gigging. And when I got into my 20s, went to university, loved my degree. I did creative writing, which was just insane. Only module I didn't like was the songwriting module, actually, but we'll get into that another time. I didn't learn anything. So I'm after I finished university, I start just gigging as much as possible. And I released my first album in 2015. I do a little self-release thing. I print 100 copies, and I got a little backing band together called the Tokyo Sex Whales. And so me and the Tokyo Sex Whales, we just gigged up and down the UK. We played as many places as we could. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did 2015, 16, 17, 18. And it was in 2018, we did the largest one to date. It was a really big tour. We did pretty much 2 weeks in a row non-stop. And we were going to play the Edinburgh Fringe. It was a big thing. We were building up to it for months. We were getting excited. We're going to play the Edinburgh Fringe. Oh my word, this is going to be so cool. And it got to the day we drove up from Newcastle, where we played the night before. We gradually gigged our way up to Edinburgh, and so we get to Edinburgh, and we're handing out flyers on the streets, and we're talking to people, and people are like, "Yeah, I might come, man. Like Turkey Sex Wales. Yeah, that sounds cool." And then we got to the night, and there was no one there. And it was just like, oh wow, this is real. There's no one here. What do we do? And so we played to the barman, and we played to the sound man, and that was it. That was our lot. And we freaked out, because we were like, we put so much effort into this, and just nothing, we got nothing out of it. And we traveled all the way from the bottom of England at Winchester to Scotland for this, and I just felt burned out by it. Really, it was, I mean, touring in general, doing these little independent tours where you get on Facebook, where you get on social media, and you just message venues and go, "Hey, take a chance on this little weird indie rock band from, Southampton," and some people would be like, "Yeah, come along," and other people were like, "No." And each tour, there was always a fantastic gig. Last year, we played a gig in Southampton, a place called The Hobbit, which is amazing. They have Lord of the Rings themed cocktails there, and if you drink the entire fellowship, you get a free T-shirt. Whee! I've never done it, but Boromir is the best cocktail and character. Anyway, so that gig was really good. But on that tour, obviously, we had the Edinburgh one, which was a big dive, and yeah, and then some other good ones and some other middling ones, and we left the end of the tour just feeling burned out, because that was the beginning of our big campaign. That was the beginning of promoting the new album. We were touring a new single, and we were really excited about that. It got played on the BBC and everything, but then the tour just fizzled out, and we were burned out, and we thought, we're releasing the album next year. Are we gonna do this to ourselves again next year? And I had to think there has to be a better way to get your music out there. And I watched a little YouTube course by this guy. I can't remember his name. This really cool acoustic guitarist. He does all the tapping stuff that I can't do. So I watched his video, and he said, yeah, I was going around gigging for years, and I was getting good at it, but then eventually I just, like, no one was at the shows, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was wondering what was going on. And then I started doing YouTube, and things started building, and I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because that's where people are now. I mean, a lot of our bad shows were bad, in my opinion, because people were on their phones the whole time, just looking at the phone and not looking at you. And that's really, really annoying for a performer, because you want to captivate the person in front of you, and nothing says I'm not captivated then, the whole time. So I thought, okay, in 2020, I'm gonna try YouTube. I'm gonna give it a go, and I'll do 2 videos a week. Why not? That doesn't sound too much. I think if I do one every day, that'll just be insane. And I'll try to do one every week, and try to do 2 every week. Anyway, and so that's the idea. But me personally, I always set myself these crazy tasks, these really crazy extreme tasks. At university, we were always encouraged to do these film festival things, where you'd like write a script and film it, and edit it and release it all in a day, and do stuff like that, and write a novel in a month, and encouraged to just get the creativity out for you and just go hard on it. And so in 2011, I tried writing a song a day for a year, and crashed and burned with that. I did about 200 songs, and I just had to stop, because I was just going nuts. I wasn't seeing my friends. I was getting ill, and the songs were starting to suck towards the end. So I was like, okay, I'm just out of that. Oh, what have we got here, David? What are you saying? Venues are usually full when arrived, but always seemed empty after I start playing. Mind you, the acts before me must have been really bad because the crowd was still booing them when I started playing. Oh, David. Oh, man. I feel your pain there. I feel your pain. Yeah. Been there before. Definitely been there before. Also, is another thing is when the support band brings loads of people and then you're on after them and they take all their friends to the bar and you're just like, yeah, I get to play to one man and this dog now. Okay. But yeah, cool. So anyway, what was I saying before? Yeah, so I'm always coming up with crazy creative challenges and say this year I'm gonna write loads of scripts or make animations or something, and then 5 months in I'm like, eh. So when I said I'm gonna do 2 videos every week in 2019 on YouTube to try and like build up some continuity, even that seemed like a lot to me. And so yeah, so let's get into it a little bit because it's been a wild year and a lot's changed in my life in the background, and so we'll touch on little things here and there. And so when I started the year, I was like, right, I'm going to do one cover. I'll do that on a Tuesday, and I'll do an original on the Thursday, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully I can keep that up and keep doing more. And that was going pretty good for a while. I was living at a place I've been living at for years, and everyone was out in the middle of the day, so I could make as much noise as I wanted. So I would set up my phone on a stack of Star Wars DVDs on my shelf, um, and I just rock out like I was on stage and try to just give it all the energy I could. And my phone, this is probably the first time this phone's actually been on camera because it has been my camera. Oh yeah, I've got a little webcam thing going now. Um, but yeah, the perspective just kept going in and out and in and out. And I couldn't find a way to solve it. And I was like, ah. But I was like, people seem to actually like the video itself, so maybe that's not the end of the world that the perspective's going in and out. Anywho, that's changing now. So I kept doing that for months, and it was really fun. And what happened was about 6 months in, landlady said, I'm selling the house. And so you're gonna have to find somewhere new to live. And I'm like, oh no, where am I gonna go? And so I looked online, spareroom.com, I think, and I found a place a little bit further out. And so I picked that one. Do you know why I picked it? Because it had a hot tub. That's why I picked it. It had a hot tub, and it was a big house, and it was crazy. And it'd be living with this South African family, and it was a big like stepping out of my comfort zone because when I first moved into the place I was at before, I was there on and off for 4 years. I didn't know the people at first, but over time I really got to know them. We became friends and everything, and I thought, oh, we'll move in this with the family, and we'll become friends, and everything will, it'll be hunky dory. But it was such a different dynamic there, and it just didn't work for me personally. I mean, they're nice enough people and everything, but one of the big things was I didn't have a space to do my YouTube videos anymore. Thankfully, I'd filmed all of July's videos beforehand, so I didn't have to film all those. But when it got to August, I was like, what do I do? And like, there's a baby like sleeping next door to me. If I start going, ow, like I'm gonna wake him up and really pee off the mother, and they'll like kick me out. So what do I do? So I invented ukulele month because ukulele is quiet enough. And so I did a whole bunch of ukulele videos in August, which actually turned out to be really fun. So I did all of that in August to keep the noise down. But yeah, it just going forward, I was like, I'd have to pay money for like a rehearsal space every week to film these videos, and like I don't have lots of money, because I'm doing this full time. So it's like, what do I do? And I was back home one weekend in August. And my mum and my brother were chatting in the kitchen. I was sort of in the living room where I am right now, and they were talking about setting up a shed for my brother because he takes in people's reptiles and takes care of them, and oftentimes there's people just leave them with him because they're like, oh, you just take care of it, because there's no proper like reptile boarding places around here. And so he was like, why don't I just set up a little reptile boarding business, and I'll take in people's lizards and everything, and we'll set up a shed in the garden. We'll do it there. And so they were discussing that, and then my mum suggested, wouldn't it be really cool if like Scott had a space where he could, like do music out there as well? And I thought it was a bit of a joke, really. I thought the following conversation, when we started discussing it and saying, hey, let's build like a little recording studio, because we got some spare land out there, I guess. I thought, oh, this is a bit of a joke, really. But then it happened. We actually start getting builders involved, and people are removing things and laying concrete foundations. And before I knew it, like now the shed's there, and it's like, okay, right, this is happening. And so hopefully next year the recording studio is going to be built, and it's going to be a space to do YouTube where I could just be loud. Because that's the thing, I want to make really cool energetic acoustic videos when I'm not podcasting, and it's really hard to do that when you're going to pee people off. And even here, my upstairs neighbor, we got masonette, we've got a guy living upstairs, and when I was a teenager and used to have singing lessons in here, the guy would start putting on his army music and charging up and down, la 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 la, and I'm there trying to sing Bon Jovi, and it was just awful. And even now, when I try to film a video in here, the marching music goes on, and so cannot wait till we've got that space. That's gonna help a lot. And so all these things were going on, and I'm trying to just keep doing 2 videos a week. And you think it wouldn't be that hard, but just life just gets in the way, and it gets frustrating. And for me, I loved my degree because of so much variety. Every semester you'd have so many modules where you'd have, you'd be script writing one day, and then prose writing the next day, and songwriting next after that. And I just love that variety and those different ways to express yourself creatively. And then the idea of being a specialist and just focusing on doing one thing just freaked me out. And I thought, this is how you're supposed to progress in the world. You're supposed to pick a career and then just go with it, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But it was been a real struggle at times, and trying to finish an album off at the same time. But the thing that's kept me going, it's the fact that it somewhat resonated with some people, because got a few more subscribers than when I started, which is awesome. So big thanks to everyone. Dan and David in the comics, you guys are awesome. They've got great channels too, great music channels, so you should check their channels out as well, down below. And so actually getting a response from people and getting feedback was really cool, because it was that becomes a fire underneath you, that becomes motivation, and that keeps you going. And that's the thing that was missing at the gigs, because we were playing to no one live. You stop doing it, because it's like, what's the point if we're not entertaining anyone? And I kind of think, if I put out a video on YouTube and it gets 50 hits, I'll say, like, that night I performed to 50 people. I feel like each video I put out is like a little mini gig, streamed live from bedroom or whatever. And it's really cool. It's a cool format, YouTube, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it in the new year. Let's check my notes, because this is I'm enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying this. The idea of Koala Teatime is, obviously, if you've got questions, send them in. And if not, just sit back and enjoy, man. So moving into the new year, I'm going to shake things up a little bit. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try doing 3 videos a week, and on Tuesdays I'm going to do an improvised song video, because I started doing that in August, and that led to me performing on like a big radio station, which was crazy. And I want to obviously have more opportunities like that. But I mean, that one was mental. I mean, Daniel Kelly Folk Music, who you see down in the comments, basically gave me a song title, which was Boris Lives at Number 10, and it was part of the first improvised songwriting video I did. Hey, here we go. Yeah. Life on the Road. David Brent put me off the idea of touring forever. I've not seen that one. I do like David Brent, though. Ricky Gervais is just, he's great, isn't he? He's very funny. But as I say, the title that Daniel suggested back in August, improvised that, and that got picked up by the radio, and then went on and got to do that. So that was really cool. And also doing those improvised song challenges helps me to continue being creative and helps me pump out more songs. And that's what I want to do in 2020. I want to pump out way more songs because I didn't write as many songs this year. And I like to write at least like 100 songs a year, and I did not get anywhere near that. So next year, gonna try and get there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Life on the Road with David Brent. Yeah, so on Tuesdays there's gonna be a brand new improvised song video every week, and I'm gonna try that for 3 months or so, see how it goes, and if it doesn't go well, we'll change things up. But that's what's gonna be on a Tuesday. Then on Thursday, I'm gonna do a Koala Teatime podcast, and hopefully I'll have some guests on. That would be really cool. I'm just figuring out this whole format at the moment. We'll see what happens, and so that'll be up on a Thursday. And then Saturday, I'm going to have a video, which is it's going to be like a bonus video. So maybe if there was like one of the songs from the improv video that I want to highlight that I think is worth checking out, I'll put it there. If not, if I finish off one of my songs, I'll put it there. Or maybe when I'm building the recording studio, I want to show you guys what's going on, I'll put that video there. And so yeah, that's gonna be my thing, and yeah, keep building it. So the thing that's I think concluding the podcast for today, the thing that's really struck me about YouTube and about social media this year, the thing I've learned ultimately that I think everyone should take away if you want to build something, because I feel like I have built something, here this year. I think the thing you have to look at is that social media is kind of like a party, and when you're at a party, you don't just sort of stand there and like shout about yourself the whole time. It's about the community. It's about everyone. It doesn't matter like how good you think you are at what you do. It's not about you. It's about the people. It's about the community. And when I started picking up on that and started checking out other people's music channels and trying to encourage people in little ways and everything, that was just incredibly rewarding for me, and people have shown love back. That's been really cool. So as I said, man, like if you want to keep going with YouTube, I strongly recommend just find the community that you belong to and just keep trying to give love back, I guess. And that's what I want to strive to do more of in 2020. Yeah. So I've been Scott. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you have, let me know down below. And if you have any questions for next time, anything you want to ask me, whether it's a music related question, you want my opinion on a band, or want to know anything about songwriting, let me know. Or even if it's a personal question, I don't mind. Or you just want to chat, man. Like, this has been cool, and I'm looking forward to do more of these. Yeah. So stay awesome. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Boxing Day and the Christmas kind of period. Have a happy new year. Oh, suddenly more comments. Oh, hello there, my friend. Happy Christmas, big like from me. Hey, David, how you doing? Another Dan. Why is there a koala on your head? That's a very good question. Do I answer the koala question? I feel like I've been building up to that for a long time. Why do I wear a koala hat on my head? So what happened with the koala? I shall let you know. Okay. So back in 2010, I moved to Winchester to go to university, and at Christmas time, needed money to buy Christmas presents. So I got a job at the Christmas market in Winchester. So apparently, I read an article a couple of years ago that it's one of the best Christmas markets in all the country. I don't know that it is, but it's a good one. So I was working in the cafe, and I didn't last long, and here's why. They hired me to make sausage baps and pour mulled wine for people, which I was really good at because it's not that hard. And so you are not Australian from Australia. I'm not Australian, David. No, I'm English. I'm half English, half Scottish. Anyway, so the story goes that yeah, I'm working at the Christmas market and I'm pouring mulled wine. I'm handing out your sausage baps, and so they obviously see, oh, he's highly skilled. We should move him on to more complicated sandwiches. So they moved me on to making Breen cranberry baguettes, and I was not ready for this responsibility because no one showed me. Yeah, half Scottish. Yeah, no one showed me how to make Breen cranberry baguettes. They just threw the ingredients at me and were like, "There you go." And now I've got to start making these Breen cranberry baguettes for the customers, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not good. And so I start making these baguettes, and I'm making them just like, this is the perils of competence. Yeah, I start making these baguettes, and I'm just terrible. I'm just terrible at making these baguettes, and I look at it, I'm just like, I would not eat that. And so, but I have to wrap it up and start handing it out. And things seemed to be fine. No one was complaining as far as I knew. But then, like, I'd only been working there a few days, and I got called to the pub that ran the coffee shop on the market. So I had to go down to the pub. And are you still working part-time with the young offenders? I am, David. Yes. Yeah. I teach music at a prison. That's what I do part-time, and then I just gig the rest of the time and that jazz. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So so I get called down to the pub by the boss, this big guy called Marcello, and I'm taken down the stone steps into the basement, and everyone there's Italian, and everyone's really like agitated with me for some reason. And all speaking, speaking like Italian and swearing at me in Italian, I'm sure. And I'm like, I've done something wrong. And so they're taking me down the stone steps into the basement, and there's Marcello, this big Italian guy, the big boss. And that's good, giving something back. It is. It's a good job. I love it. And so Marcello's there, and he's sharpening knives. And he says to me, he says, Scott, I can't do an Italian accent, but he's saying, we're not very pleased with your service at the Christmas market. And this guy sharpening knives and looking at me, and I turn around over my shoulder, and there's this lady there, this big Italian lady with her arms crossed. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get whacked. This is freaky. And so yeah, and so I turned back, and he goes, "We've had many complaints about the brie and cranberry sandwiches, Scott." Still sharpening the knives. I'm just like, I'm freaking out right now. And he's like, "We have decided to end your service." And I was just like, right, I'm getting a knife in the heart right now. It's over. Goodbye, world. I died over a brie and cranberry sandwich, and then he stopped sharpening the knives and put them down, and then he went, "You can go." And I pegged it up the stairs, and I went back to the market, and I picked up my stuff, and they gave me cash in hand. They gave me cash in hand for the work that I'd done that week. I don't know whether I gave someone food poisoning with a brie and cranberry sandwich, but just I don't know what happened. Anyway, I walked out, and it was about £20 and this thing, and there was a market stall. We're getting to the point of the story now. We're getting to a market stall straight across from the coffee shop that sold, you guessed it, animal hats, and they were £20. And so I spent my entire wage for the 4 days I worked there on this hat. And so every time I wear this hat, it reminds me of that crazy situation I got into. So there you go, Dan. So this is why I wear a koala on my head, because it reminds me of the time I was nearly whacked in a basement. Christmas market mafia. That's terrifying. Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. David, what's David asked? How old are you? How old am I? That's a good question. 28. And yeah, there you go. I thought that I waffled on, my friend. Yeah, I am self-taught, mostly on guitar. I picked up a guitar when I was at school. I'd just go into the practice room at break time and just noodle around the guitar and find my way through it like that. And yeah, I joined the band. I discovered power chords, and yeah, I just learned power chords, and we started playing sort of Green Day-esque punk rock. And then I wanted to know more, so I got guitar lessons for a year, and then learned everything I needed to learn. And yeah, yeah, I learned everything I needed to know on guitar, and then I moved on and self-taught everything after that. What else is everyone saying? Dan says, brilliant story. I'm glad I go into 2020 knowing this. There you go. So that's the reason behind the koala hat. It's not just I saw a koala hat once and I wanted it. It's sort of, it reminds me of a very specific, strange situation I got into. That's one thing that's going to come up in these podcasts a lot, is I get myself into some crazy stories. 28 question mark. Was it a hard paper round? Paper rounds? Don't know what you're going on about there, David. Paper rounds? Were they mainly catalogues? Was it uphill? Did I say that I had a paper rounds? I don't think I had a paper rounds. I tried getting a paper rounds, but they I think I was 13. I tried getting a paper round, and my mum called them up and said, no, he's not doing it. Even though I passed my interview, I didn't get to do a paper round. So there you go. When they made the catalogues, crikey. There you go. Cool. So if there's no more questions, probably going to draw the podcast to a close. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I shall get around to them in next week's episode, when it will be January 2nd. It will be 2020, so we'll get into it then. Yeah, humor, my friend. Somebody out there will get this. Okay. Okay. Cheers, David. Stay awesome, guys. Have a great rest of the Christmas season and New Year, and I shall see you in 2020. Peace.